In this section, we will be discussing about NumPy module, which is available in Python. And this NumPy stands for numerical Python, and which is fundamental package for scientific computation with Python. And this NumPy module contains functions to work with arrays, matrices, and also we can do the linear algebra and Fourier transform, etc. So all these kind of operations can be performed by using this NumPy module in Python, and which is it is very useful when we are doing the program, and we can directly call some of the or directly import some of the important functions or the methods available in this particular module. Okay, so when we do the program, this particular module is very helpful, especially when you are doing the numerical calculations, arithmetical operations with the arrays, matrices, etc. Okay, and one of the important uh, function or object which is available in the NumPy module is the arrays, and a special class of these arrays are called as matrices in this program. Okay, so these arrays are nothing but table of similar elements um, indexed with integers. We already discussed about the integers, and or I think we already covered that part, right, about the integers. So I am not going to discuss that here, but in arrays also we can use those index to represent different positions or the values position in that particular array. So that can be done by using the integers. Okay, so this is an important object in NumPy, and which is nothing but uh, collection, or we can say it's a table of similar elements. So the similar elements is very important, because when you consider array, the elements in that particular particular array should be the same. The data type should be the same. Okay, so there will be having similar elements, and we'll be having different dimensions of arrays. And in this case, the dimension of an array is called as an axis, and the number of such axes, which is represented as the rank of that particular array. Okay, so when you consider an array, we can have this much of different dimensions. Different dimensions you can have. We can have 0 dimension, 1 dimension, 2 dimension, 3 dimension. So in when you're considering an array, we can have different dimensions, and a special class of that is the two-dimensional array, which can be used to represent a matrix. Okay, so whatever operations that we perform with the two-dimensional array, which is also applicable to the matrix calculations or any operations associated with matrix. Okay, so that's all about as an introduction to these arrays and matrices. We will do those arrays. We will do all the operations with arrays and matrices in the upcoming sections. So we will be we will be able to understand that part much more clearly. Okay, I'm just briefing all those things that what we will do in this particular section, especially the programming. And then after these dimensions of array, we will directly go to this array creation. And one can create an array by using Python list or tuple that we already discussed. And along with that, we have to use the array function. Okay? By using array function and list or tuple, we can create new array. Okay? Also, the type of the created array can be identified by the type of the elements in that particular sequence that we have used to create that particular array. So whatever sequence that you have used to create array, for example, if you're using lists, then the data type that you have used to create that particular list, that can be considered as the data type of that particular array, type of array. And similarly, in most of the case, the elements in an array may be unknown. So if you want to create some particular dimensional array, then you can directly use some of the functions available in NumPy. And the examples for such functions are NumPy 0, this is zeros, R is missing here. NumPy zeros, NumPy ones, NumPy full, and NumPy empty. So we will discuss all these functions separately when we do the program, and we will be able to understand those things. And after that, we will go to the array indexing. And indexing is very important because if you want to get access to any element, if you want to analyze and manipulate this array object, we need this indexing. So actually, we are representing the position of each and every element in that particular array by using integers. That is the process of indexing. Okay, so one can easily access any array elements through this indexing or by using its index number. Okay, then we have both the positive as well as negative index in this case that we will discuss while doing the. Okay. And then we'll go to the array copying. This is very useful when we consider the suppose if you want to have an operation on a particular part of the array, then you can copy that particular part from the parent array. Okay, and you can do whatever operation that is required, and in such a way that the original array will not be get affected by these operations. Okay, so this is also very important when you are considering different operations with arrays. And especially if you are considering a part of the array, then you can just copy that part and do the operations so that the operation will not affect the parent array. Okay. So in that kind of circumstances, we can use this copying method, and this can be um, achieved by using the function copy. Okay. That also we will discuss while doing the programming section. And then we have array concatenation. Array concatenation is nothing but joining of two arrays of different arrays. So this option is also available in NumPy, and we can use this concatenation operation or method to join two arrays. Okay, and if you are having similar arrays with the same shape, then we can use this particular concatenate function. Otherwise, we can also use vstack and hstack. So this will also add elements vertically as well as horizontally. That we will discuss later. And then we will go to the array splitting, and this is just opposite to that of the concatenation. If you are having an array, then you can split that particular array into different sub-arrays by using the split function. You can also use vsplit as well as hsplit. That is nothing but the vertical split as well as horizontal split. So in this case, we are just separating, or we are just splitting this parent array into the sub arrays, different sub arrays, and the number of sub arrays that can be created after this splitting, that depends on the points that we have to queue during this operation. Okay. So now we'll directly go to the programming section, and you will be able to understand these methods much more deeply. Okay. So first we'll consider the different dimensions of an array. Okay. So first we have discussed that we can have zero-dimensional array, one-dimensional array, and two-dimensional array. So if you are considering zero-dimensional array, it is just like a constant, or it represents a single element in an array. So it will be having like a constant. If you are considering the mathematical or the physics background, then if you consider a constant, then it can be represented as zero dimension. So a zero-dimensional array will be a single element or single number or whatever data type that you use. So that is the zero-dimensional array. So it represents element in an array, each element in an array if you're considering other dimensions. And then if you're considering one-dimensional array, it is like a vector. When you consider the physics background, then you can consider, or mathematical background, you can consider it as a vector which will be having a direction in a particular axis. That is the one-dimensional array, how we can represent that particular quantity by using vector method. So it is nothing but a vector which can have a particular direction. Okay, and if you consider two-dimensional array, then we'll be having two different axes. So if you consider a vector, and it can be represented by an axis. In this case, we'll be having two. When you consider two-dimensional array, we will be having two axes, for example, x-axis and y-axis. And in one-dimensional array, we have only one axis, that is maybe x-axis or y-axis. So this will be having two-dimensional array will be having two different axes. Okay, and the three-dimensional array will be having three different axes. So how we will represent all these things, that we will just and is to do perform all those operations here. So first I will create one array, and in order to create an array, first we have to use NumPy. In order to use NumPy, we have to import NumPy module. So first I will write import NumPy. Okay. And after importing this particular module, then I have to assign some name a equal to some NumPy dot array. So I am using the array function from NumPy. That is this line means NumPy dot array. And after that, I will be putting this bracket, and then I have to give the array elements in the form of a list or tuple. So I will just put it like 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one should be square bracket. And okay, now it is closed. And if you want to get that particular array, then you can print. Take a print of A, then you will get that particular array. So this is how we can create array by using this array function. By using this array function itself, you can directly create any array. And now you don't have to use this entire NumPy name, or name of this module is NumPy. So it is, you don't have to use the entire NumPy, because if you are importing that one as NP, like import NumPy as NP, then in this case you can just write this line just over here, and this line can be written as NP dot, because I am renaming this module NumPy as NP here. So I can just write NP dot array with this, and if I take print of that, I will be getting same array. So this is the array. This is not a list now. This is now an array. Okay. So what is the difference between these two? This, if you consider the array and list, the array will be having same type of elements. Okay, and also arrays are much faster than lists, because it allows different kind of access when you consider lists. So we can access the elements much faster in case of array. That is not that much easy when you consider list. Okay, so the arrays will be much faster as compared to list. So there are many other differences. So you can look for that. And okay, we will continue here. So this is the array that we have just created by using this option array or the function array, and I have to give it as numpy dot array or np dot array if I have renamed it as np. Okay, and what is this zero dimensional array? What is meant by this zero dimensional array? So that we'll discuss now. And this one is nothing but whatever we have discussed here. This one is one dimensional array. Okay, so this is a one dimensional array, and you can directly see that from this particular example. You can directly see that this array will be having a particular axis. So this is just like an x-axis if you consider that this direction as x-axis. So you can see this is just representing an axis when you're considering axis. So this is one dimensional array, and if you want to get the zero dimensional array, you just have to type here a equal to, for example, np, or I will write b. Maybe I will be using that a again. So b equal to, for example, some other array. So array, and I have to just write some numbers, this single number. So that is array 42. Okay, and if I take the print of that, print of a, then I will be. Oh, I think I have made a mistake here. Yeah. Okay. So here the this is this I have done. So I have to take the print of b, right? So we have taken print of a. So now we'll get 40. So here you can see this particular. Uh, in this particular case, we have a single element in here, so that this particular array is known as a zero dimensional. Okay, so this will be representing. This is nothing but a zero dimensional array with a single element. So it cannot be used or it is not having any axis. Okay. And so it is just like a constant value. And then we have a one-dimensional array that we have already discussed here. And if you consider the two-dimensional array, let me see. Okay, if you consider the two-dimensional array, then we have to define it like, for example, a equal to something like np dot array. So I'm just creating that array here, and I just have to put two lists here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. Okay, comma. And the second list has 5, 6, 7, 8. If I put oh, I missed one bracket here, so square bracket I missed here. So see, so here we have one more bracket, right? Now, if I take the print of this particular A, then I will be getting array like this. So this is a two-dimensional array. And what are these two dimension here? This is one axis, you can see, and this is the second one. So if you consider this one, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1, 2, 3, 4, that is in one particular direction, and 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, 7, 4, 8, that is in a different direction. So you can consider it as an x and y axis. So it is just like a plane, and that can be represented, or that is nothing but a two-dimensional case, right? So this is a two-dimensional array. It will be having both two axes. Basically, it will be having two axes. So here we'll be considering this as two-dimensional. Now, what will be the three-dimensional array? So I will just copy this one. Just copy that, and I will put one more set here. So I will put one more square bracket. And after this square bracket, I will just put comma, put two square brackets, and let me write something 9, 10, 11, 12, and 5, another value, 3, 6, 8, some value, and just randomly in those values. So I have taken this complete set in one case to this part, and this is another complete set, and both of them are in this part. And if I put, if I press enter now and take the print of that particular array A, then I will be getting like this. And you can see from here we'll be having two-dimensional array in this case, two-dimensional array. Here we can have one two-dimensional array, first two-dimensional array here, and second two-dimensional. So actually these two will come for example, if you consider the first one, which is on the screen, and the second one should come behind the screen. Okay, so like that, like a z-axis. So it can be behind the screen or in front of the screen. Okay, so if you consider the first one, that is this one with the two-dimensional array, that is on the screen, then this one will be behind that particular screen. Okay, so that is the z direction. So it is the third dimension. This is how we will get the three-dimensional array. And also remember that this is the two-dimensional array, and you can see this is your rows. These are the rows. Here also you can have these two as your rows, and 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, 7, 4, 8. All those are columns. 1, 5 is a column, first column. 2, 6 is the second column. 3, 7 is the third column. 4, 8 is the fourth column. Okay, so this is simply representing a matrix. We can use the two-dimensional array to represent a matrix, and all the calculations related to matrix can be also performed here by using arrays. Okay, so that's about the different dimensions of arrays, and we can also use different functions to create this array apart from this array function. And in that case, suppose if you're not interested in the elements of an array, then you can directly write like a equal to, for example, a equal to np dot, or you can just put, so suppose if you want to get some in some particular data type, for example, then you can directly give that data type also. So if I consider this one, this is a one-dimensional array, and if I want to have that particular elements in a particular data type, then I can write it as b type equal to, I can give any data type, for example, float. This is my data type, and if I press enter and take print of that a, I'll be getting that all my elements in floats. These are float values. So in that way you can specify the data type also. And if you are not interested in those elements, and if you don't know that element, then you can also create array without if you are not interested in particular elements. If you are only interested in the dimension or the shape of that particular element array, which means that the axis of that particular element. And then in that case, you can directly create those arrays by using some different functions. For example, a equal to, you can consider it as np dot zeros. So this np dot zeros function is used um, to get zero elements. It is nothing but zeros. Okay, elements that will be completely filled in your array. Okay, so let's consider it as it is shape is 3, 3. That is nothing but the axis. You can see the values that you write, like rows and columns. When you consider the matrix, you will be representing it. It is like m by n matrix, So this is just like that. Okay, so we can consider that as 3 comma 3. So we'll be having 3 rows and 3 columns. 3 rows and 3 columns. So in this case. Okay, so when you are writing that zeros, you can write simply. You can specify the shape here. You can also give the data type also, and you can also give order of this particular array. So you can specify here shape as 3 comma 3. I think I have done one. Oh, I think I have missed one bracket here. First I have to put one bracket for zeros, then if I print that one a, then I will be getting 3 by 3 matrix or 3 by 3 array like this, and we can see this is a two-dimensional array, and this is 3 by 3 its shape. And now you can see that all elements are zeros. So because why it is coming, because we are using np.0. So this will be this function zeros, np.zeros will be filling zeros for as the elements. So, and you can also use some different function like np dot. If you want to have some specific value or specific element in that particular array, two-dimensional array, then you can use this full function np dot full, and then you can specify the shape 3 comma 3 and which element that you have to write. It is 2, for example. And if you press enter and take printout of that, then you will be getting 222, which means that all elements are 2 here, because we have given that particular value to. So we have to fill the entire position or index with this particular element 2. Okay, so this is also possible. This is another ways. These are other ways to create array. Okay, and also you can use many other techniques. For example, uh, okay, you can consider other data type also. So for example, complex or float value. You can check here. So I'm not going to discuss all of them. I'm just giving you the just an introduction. Okay, so here we'll be considering np dot zeros as well as np dot full. Similarly, you can use different functions to create arrays. Also, you can consider the reshaping of the array as for creation, because we are making in a different shape. So that also can be considered, and you can also consider flattening array. Flattening is reducing the dimension of an array. That also you can consider. In that case, for example, um, uh, let's say a equal to np dot array. So here also I am using array function, and 1 2 3 1 2 3. So suppose if you are having two lists like 4 6, so I have given these two lists. Okay, now if you want to flatten these two, I think I have missed one. I missed again one. So here I am just creating a two-dimensional array. So I just want one more square bracket here. This is nothing but as two-dimensional array. So I am not going to print that particular array, or I will just do that. Print A. So you can see that this is a two-dimensional array, and if you want to reduce that into some, for example, one-dimensional array, then you can write. You can use this flattening function. So in that case, I will be using fa equal to a dot. That is my array name. So that is a dot flatten. That we use a dot flatten. So which means I have to reduce the dimension of that particular array A. So flatten, and then if you print that one, okay, then you can see that now my array is in one dimension. So initially it was two dimension, and that is changed to one dimension. Okay. And so these are all the methods for creation of array. The simplest one is by using the array function, and you can also consider the others as for other functions also for the creation of array. Okay, and now we'll check what is array indexing. How we can access different elements in that particular array. Any array, if you consider, how we can access those elements. So if you consider a one-dimensional array like this, like FA, so how we can access? So each of these elements in this particular array, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, will be having a particular integer to represent its position, and that is called as its index. Okay, so it normally it will start from 0. So if you consider 1, then it is index value is 0. If you consider 2, its index value will be 1, and so on. So it will be starting from 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So it is basically starts from left to right. So it will be 0 here, 1 here, 2 here, 3, 4, so etc. That is how we will consider the index for these elements. Okay, so if you want to get the value at the first position, or at the as the first index, so then we can write a of 0. That is 0 is my first index value. So if we write a of 0, okay, I will write it as, will take some different way. Okay, because it is considering this particular one, right? Because I have written a as this, so I have to write a. For fa of fa is my single dimension or one dimensional array. Okay, so I'm now considering fa. Okay, so for the one dimensional case, I have to write it like this. So fa of 0, you can see that it's 1. So that is the first element of this one dimensional array. And if I consider something like fa of 3, for example, then you can see 4. So that is the this is the index position, index value. Okay, so index value is 3. So index value 0 here, 1 here, 2 here, 3. So I will be getting that 4 as my element. Okay, this is how we can access different values in a one-dimensional array. You can also add them. If I write string of let's say a of 0 plus a of 3, and do all these kind of questions. Sorry, this is I have written again. It as a, so we will just write it as fa, because we are doing it single dimension, right? So fa of 0. I can see it is fine. 1 plus 4 is fine. So I can access different elements in this particular one-dimensional array by using this method, this particular method. And also, if you want to access a two-dimensional array, we have to specify the index in both direction or in both axes. Okay, because we are having two axes in two-dimensional array. So in that case, we have to consider two different index. So if I consider this one as my array, that is nothing but A. So I will be considering that as my two-dimensional array. Okay, this one. and in that I am going to do the operations, or I will be accessing elements from that array. That is nothing but a two-dimensional array. So if I write like a of, for example, a of um, 0, a of 0 comma, let's say some 3, so some value. Okay. So if you consider this, I think it should come. Okay, I think index 3. Okay, this is only up to 3, right? So, so because in this array we can see that this one is 0, this one is 1, 2. So up to maximum index value is 2. In this direction, if you consider 1, 0, 1, right? If you consider row wise, then the index starts from 0, 1, 2. So maximum I can give 2. And if I start in the other direction, in y-axis or in the column wise, I can have maximum index 0 and 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. So I cannot, I should not write 3 here. So I will just write a 0, comma 2 maximum. So I will be getting 3. Okay, so a of 0, 0 representing the first row. So this is in this column, this part is representing, if you are considering this two-dimensional array as a matrix, then you can consider it as a column, sorry, a row. So this one is nothing but your first row with the index 0. And if you consider index 1, then that will be the second row. And if you consider third one, index 3, then that will be third, and so on. And this part is representing your column. And this is nothing but your third column. If you consider index as 2, then that is your third column. If this part is having, after this comma, if you are writing some 0, then it is your first column. So this is simply representing your column. So basically this a of 0 comma 2 accessing the element with row index as 0 and column index as 2, which means that your row, first row and column 3, third column. So that element is nothing but 3. So first row, third column. So that is nothing but 3. So that particular value we can get. So this is how we can access elements from a two-dimensional array. And in this case, if you are writing simply a of 0, then you can get that complete row. This complete row you can get a of 0. So that first row, if you want to get the first row, then you can write it like a of 0. And you can also write a of 1 and all other values. So if I write, let's see, now we will discuss about the three-dimensional array, how we can access elements from three-dimensional array. Okay, so let me first put here window first. So import numpy as NP. I will just use a three-dimensional array. So for that, I will just give a equal to np dot array, and I have to use square bracket, and then let's say 1, 2, 3, comma square bracket 4, 5, 6, 1, comma 2 square bracket, and then let's say some 7, 8, 9, then 10, 11. So I think I've closed all these brackets and more example. So this is my three-dimensional array. If I want array, and I can just print that, can see three-dimensional array here. So as we discussed earlier, this will be coming as two-dimensional arrays, one after other. Okay. So how we can access elements when you consider this kind of three-dimensional array? So that we will discuss. So here we can just type print my array name, and in that array I have to specify the index of each of the element. So in this case we have three axes, right? So first we have this is just like a three dimension. So by first I have to give three dimension. First dimension, that is let's say 0, and then I will just put 0 comma 2, some that is for rows and columns. So this will be giving me 3. So this one is called, right? That is in y direction. So this is my first dimension. This is column and this is row. This is how we will represent these, or how we can access element from a three-dimensional array. So this 0 representing the array index in that first dimension, or that in z axis, if you are considering that into or out of the screen direction, that is represented by this, that particular dimension, that is represented by this. So this 0 means first two-dimensional array in this three-dimensional. So that is nothing but this one. This is my first two-dimensional array, and this is my second two-dimensional array, and so on. When you are considering three-dimension, you will be having number of two-dimensional array in a different direction. So this is nothing but arrays of arrays, array of arrays. Okay. So in this case, we have index 0 as well as 1, and that 0 will be representing this first two-dimensional array, and this will be represented by index 1. If I put 1 here, then that will represent this two-dimensional. And in this case, we have given 0, so that it will be representing this two-dimensional array. And then in that two-dimensional array, I am representing 0 again, and that is representing my row. Okay, this is representing my row, so that it will be taking this particular row, and then it is representing my column 2. So column index is 2, which means that this is 0, this is 1, this is 2. So I will be getting, so this 0 means representing the first, second order, or second two-dimensional array. So that is nothing but this array, and this 0 representing the first row, that is index 0, which means that first row, and then this 2 is representing index 2 for column. So that is the third column, right? This is 0, this is 1, this is 2. So I will be getting the answer as 3. So that is the element. So this is how we will access element in a three-dimensional array. Okay, I hope you understood this. And now we will go to the negative index, okay, or negative indexing. So let us consider a simple case like one-dimensional array. So I will just create an array A equal to np dot array of, let's consider it as 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4, and then close that bracket. And so if you want to get that array, then print A, we get that array. And if I access this array by negative indexing means it will start from right and it flows to left. Okay, it starts from right and it is going in this direction, from right to left. Okay, and it starts from here with index -1, and then it is -2. Here it is -3 and -4 and so on. So it is starting from -1, okay? And it is going in the direction like it is going from right to left. So if I put a of -1, it is, so it is my first value or first element. -1 is my first element in the reverse order. Okay. first element in the reverse order. Okay, so then if I put enter, then I will be getting 4. If I put a of 2, sorry, f minus 2, then I will be getting this is minus 1, this is minus 2. So second element. So remember that here we are starting from minus 1. There is no 0 when you're considering negative index. Okay, and also now you can check that with some more examples. Now we will be directly going to the subarrays, accessing of subarrays. So how we can access arrays when you're considering a multi-dimensional, or in a one-dimensional array itself, how you can access subarrays, which means that some number of elements, how we can access. So let us consider again this same example, or I will just use another example because we have only 4 numbers, or 4 elements which is available. So we will just increase that 5, 6, 7, something like that. And then the sender, if you want to get the A, then you can get it like this. And if you want to get some numbers in this particular array or some elements, so in this case we are getting only one element, right? But if you want to get some number of elements, which is nothing but a sub array, and this process is also called as array slicing. And in this case, what you can do, you can just put a colon, for example, some 4. Okay, and if you press enter, you will be getting all the values. Okay, you will be getting all the elements up to the 4th index. You are, what is meant by this? You will be getting all elements up to 4th index. You will be getting all elements up to 4th index. So in this case, this is 0 index, first index, second index, third index, 4th index is 5. So only up to 4th index will get. So this 4th index is excluded. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 will be. And if you consider it the same way, you can consider 4 column. So what is this? In this case, you will be getting all elements from 4th index. So in this case, 4th element also included. 4th index element also included. So when it is from, that element will be included. When it is up to, it is not included. So when you're starting from this particular element, that element also included. This index and the element corresponding to that index will be included. So A4 colon, that will give me all elements from 4th index. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3. This is my 4th index position. So this element, including this element, it will be printed. So 5, 6, 7, that will be printed in this case. Okay, and if you want to get some elements in between, like in that case, we can write it like, for example, A of 1 colon, then some 6, or I will just put some 5. Okay. So this will give you all values in between these strings, which means that it will give you values from index 1, from 1 up to 5. From 1 up to 5. So this index element at index 5 will be excluded. Element at index 1 will be included. Okay, remember that. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5. So we will be having index 1 as 2, and from that up to this 5 we will be getting. Sorry, up to yes, to this. So that value is excluded. This particular value 6 is excluded because 6 is the at index 5, right? We have 5. So that one is excluded. And now, if you want to get array elements from 0 with some step size, then that is also possible. Sorry. Anyway, so if I want to get array elements from 0 index with some step size, so in that case, just have to use 2 semicolon. So what is this semicolon? This is just a syntax. Okay, here the syntax is nothing but like A of some start point, then stop point, then your step size. In this way, you have to write the start point, and then you have stop, then step. So in this way, you can access elements. So I am just writing here a in square bracket. I'm just leaving the first 2 points or first two values or numbers. That is, in this case, I'm not giving you any start or stop points, which means that I will be starting from the initial point and I will be reaching at the final point. Okay, and I'm giving step size something like 2. Then I can just press enter, and I will be getting values with step size 1. So I will be starting from first value. So that is nothing but my 1, is this number 1. And so that is starting. And then after that, I will be taking index with steps 2. So first value, 0 index, then I will be taking next index, that is 2. After 0, then 1 is skipped, then 2, then 3 skipped, 4. So I will be getting 1, 3, 5, and 7 to last one. All those values will be getting printed here. And also, if you are considering, let's say A, you can also consider that from the you can limit that if you give some index value here 1, then colon. So here I am not giving any stop, but I am giving start point. So start index is 1. So I will be starting from the second value. In this list, in this array, I will be starting from the second value, which is corresponding to the index 1. So if I print that, I will be getting values 2. So I am starting from the second index, sorry, the first index, which means second element, 2 in steps of 2. So it will be next one is 4, then 6. And there is no other values in steps of 2. So I will be getting 4, 6, 4, 2, 4, and 6. Okay. This also you can give negative indexing here also. So it just like -1. So this will give you all the values in reverse order. So it will start from 7, and then it will give all values in this way from right to left. So all the values will be reversed. So you can see that from here. So 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So the values are the elements are just reversed. And as we discussed earlier, we can also give the starting point. For example, if I put 4 and I use colon, and then if I put some -1, -2, I will put -2, then I will be getting. So it is starting from index 4. So which one is my index 4? This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is starting from 5. And I am using negative indexing here. I'm using negative indexing. So it is starting from this, first one is 5, right? So I am starting from 5. And it is, since I am using negative indexing, it is going from right to left and with step size 2. So it is starting from 5, then step size 2, so 3, then again 1. So 5, 3, 5, 3, 1 will be 3. So this is how we can access arrays or sub-arrays from a given array. And it is also called as array splitting. Sorry, array slicing. This is also called as array slicing, not splitting, array slicing. So, and if you are having a multi-dimensional array, so this is just a case of one-dimensional array. If you are having multi-dimensional array, what we will do? So, for example, if I consider a multi-dimensional array, I will just create one, A equal to, let's say, some two-dimensional array. So in this case, I will just use some random numbers so that you will be able to understand how we can use random numbers to generate these arrays. So I will just use random. Random is another function which is this random will be used. So this is also available in NumPy module, and you can use np.random. And by using this random, we can create random numbers, and in this case we are creating random integers. So I will use in that random, I will be using rand int, which means that I am creating integer values randomly, rand int, and I will be creating random values up to 10, and so up to numbers will be up to 10, integer numbers up to 10, and I have to specify the size here is as 3 comma 4. So I'm giving that size for that particular array. And if I press enter, I think I have closed all brackets here. Yes. Okay, now if I press enter here, and if I print that one, okay, and I will be getting a 3 by 3 matrix. You can see here, for 3 by 3 array, or you can specify the 3 rows and 3 columns. Okay, with all those elements will be randomly generated integers up to 10. So this is how we can use random numbers or random function to generate uh, random integers, and that can be also used to create an array. Okay, anyway, so in this, how we can access the elements if you are having a multi-dimensional array. So in that case, I can just give you, if you want to get the full elements, then I can just give a in square bracket, I just put column, then I will get all the elements in that particular array. And if I want a specific part or some specific rows and specific columns, then I can give column 2, I am using column 2, and then comma column 3, for example. So I am specifying rows and columns here. So here I am just giving, accessing first 2 rows and 3 columns. First 2 rows, and so this 2 is for rows and this 3 for columns. So this is just starting from the beginning. I'm giving, I'm accessing first 2 rows, and here also I'm using first 2 columns. If I press enter, I will be getting first 2 rows. So I am accessing these 2 rows, first 2 rows, and first 3 columns. First 3 columns means this 3, 9, 4, 0, 7, 1, 6, and 5, 7. So I am accessing these 2 rows and these 3 columns. Whatever elements coming in that will be. So this is 97541. So this is how we can access different elements. This you can just reverse and check what will happen. You can just put 3 here, so which means that I am accessing first 3 rows, and then I am accessing first 2 columns. And if I press enter, then I will be getting first 3 rows with 2 columns. Okay, this is how we can access different rows and columns in a 2-dimensional array. And also you can access the elements with negative index, like you can just put, so in this case just put 2 colon and 1 minus 1, then comma 2 colon minus 1. So basically we are accessing, so this will also reverse this minus 1. If you put minus 1, we are considering it as a step size with which is in negative index. So which means that it is going in reverse way. Okay. So you will be accessing all the rows in reverse way. You will be accessing all the columns in reverse way, and all those will be printed reversely. So when you are considering this statement, I will just give you that. So when you consider this one, you are just inversing all those rows, row values. So you can see from here, where is your original matrix? This is your 2-dimensional array, right? So this one, if you consider this one, you can see 7, 5, 3 here, and 2, 7, 5, 2, 7, 5. So 2, 7, oh, this one, sorry, not this one, 7, 5, 3 here, and this 2, 7, 5. So they just reversed. First, we are reversing all those rows. So what it will be doing? So it will reverse all the elements in this rows. Okay, so first you will be getting 3, then 9, and then 5, then 7, then 9. Okay, then here it will be 5, then 7, then 1, then 4. So all those rows will be reversed because of this. And then again after that you are reversing the column. Okay, so once you reverse this row, then 9 will be here. Okay, right? And then you are reversing that column. So you'll be having 9 here, 4 here, 0 here after the first reversal, this rows. And then, so 9, 4, 0 here, then you are reversing the column here. Okay. Then you will be having 0 here, 4 here, 9 here. That is what is happening here. You can see here, 0, 4, 9. So all those rows will be reversed and then column will be reversed. So first it will be row wise, it will be reversed row wise, and then it will be reversed column wise. Then we will be getting matrix like this, or the your two-dimensional array like this. Okay, and if you want to access a particular row or particular column, then you have to write it like A, and in square bracket you have to access all those rows. And if you want to access the first column, so this is representing this is just representing that row. If you are using a comma, then this part is representing row and this part is representing a column. After comma, it is column, whatever we are writing, and before comma, that is row. So if you are using a colon here, which means that complete row you want to access. Only if you are using this column, and then you are, what it means? It means you need complete access of complete rows, all rows. And if you are specifying, if you are putting here also column, then you are actually accessing complete column. But instead of that, if you want only first column, then I can put 0. That is the index value for the first column. Okay. Then if I press enter here, then you can get 940. That is my first column. You can see 940 here. That is my first column. So this is how we can access first column. So just put this column, that is for accessing entire row. So entire row will be functioning, and in that I am getting only the first column. So I give this 940. Okay, and then if I press, if I use, or if I want the first row or any row, in that case, what I need to have all the columns, access to all the columns, but I just want first row. So all the columns I just use column, and this is for first row. Then I will be getting first row, that is 9753. You can see that. So, and if you want to get second column or second row or something, and for example, if I want to third row, then I can just put 2 here, okay? And then for center, I will be getting third row. You see that here. In this way, you can access particular row or column in a multi-dimensional array. And now we'll discuss how we can access the or how we can copy an array or a part of an array. Okay. So for copying, let me put let's okay, this one is A, right? Okay, anyway, I'll use that one. So let me write A copy equal to that will be equal to something like A, and I have to specify which part I have to copy. I have to provide the row and column address of that. So I will just put colon 2. So which means that I have to copy 2 rows. Okay, I have to copy 2 rows, and in that then I will give 2 columns, 2 rows and 2 columns. Just like this, and then I have to use the copy function. The function is nothing like this. So this is the syntax for copying a particular part from a matrix. So I am just copying this this particular. So this is just index. So the second index I have given 2, which means that I have to have the access of these two rows, right? So let me see what I will get here. Okay. So in this case, I will be getting the complete. I think it is complete. Okay, I will. I just I have just printed A, but I have to print A copy, right? So you can see from here. Okay, from here you can see this is just I need two columns, right? Two columns and sorry, two rows and two columns. Here, two rows and two columns. So those will be. You can change this if you want. For example, I think four elements are there. Okay, I will just do some more example here. So you can change this to three rows and, for example, two columns. No problem with this. And print a copy. In that, you can see three rows and two columns. This is how we can copy some particular portion of a given matrix or two-dimensional array. Okay. Now we will go for reshaping of an array. And in this case, I will just use the arrange function. I will just write b equal to np dot arrange, and this arrange function will give you a sequence of integers from 0, okay, whatever range that you can specify, no problem. You have for this arrange function also you can specify a start point and then stop point and the step size, that also you can do like this, and then you can close this one, and that is what I am doing here. Okay, so here also for this arrange function, you can look forward to this arrange function more deeply, and this arrange function in I am here I am giving start as 0 and I am giving stop as 9. So it will give me, I am not giving any step size here. Step value I am not going to give here. So this will give me integers from 0 to 9. Okay, so it automatically takes the steps as 1. And here I will be getting integers from 0 to 9. So I will just use that as my array. Okay, if I just write print of b, I will be getting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is up to 9. Okay, this will also give me value or integers up to 9. So 9 will not be printed. Okay, so from 0 up to 9, that will be printed. Okay, anyway, so this will be acting as, and this is also we can use as a method to create an array. So this will act as my array now. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are the elements. And if I want to reshape this array into something else, then I can just use reshape function. Reshape. Let's use that reshape function, and then you give that shape 3, 3. This is like a 3 by 3. Okay. So if I press enter, then you can see that this entire element that was one dimensional, that is changed to two dimensional here with this particular shape 3, 3. So it is like a 3 by 3 matrix. You can see from here. Okay. So this is how we can reshape a particular array in a particular dimension to some other dimension. And also you can look for array concatenation. Let's say some c equal to I will just create an array np dot array in square bracket I will write 3 and then close that one. This is my first array. I'm just considering a one-dimensional array, and this b equal to some other. I will copy this one and I will just reflect this 4 and 5. So these are my arrays C and B. I'm not going to print that those arrays. I just concatenate this. So np dot for concatenation, I will be using this concatenate function. So np dot, I will just write concatenate, and in that I will be concatenating. Let us concatenate this C and B, right? So C comma D. It's very simple. Just give those names, or we have to give bracket here. Okay, so then just press enter. Then you can see these two arrays are concatenated into a singular. Okay, and this can be also possible with the other dimensions also. If okay, I will just give you an example. Before that, first I will consider a 2 by 2 matrix, or 2 by 2, or I will just copy this one. Where is that? Okay, I will just use this random numbers to generate a particular array. So let me consider a 2 by 2 case, right? So print. You can see this has a 2 by 2 matrix or array. You can see. If I want to concatenate these same elements, let us consider this as same. You can also use with a different uh, array. So in that case, I have, you can just use np dot concatenate here, and then inside that bracket I will just use a comma a, and concatenating the same array. So a comma a. Then also I can give some option like axis. If I put axis equal to 0, that will be concatenating column wise. Sorry, row wise. So the number of rows will be getting increased in this case. So if I put it like this, I think I missed one bracket. Missed one bracket here, and in. So yeah, yes, this bracket. This one I have to remove it. This one, okay. Now you can see that this 2248 is concatenated with the first array, that is 8. So since I am using same array, so the elements will be the same. So don't worry about that. So here we'll be having this 2248 that is concatenated with this array vertically. So in this case, it is adding more rows. So it is concatenation with uh, in row wise. Okay, and if you use axis equal to 0, so axis equal to 0, which means row wise. And if you are considering it as 1, then it will be adding as column wise. Then you can see here these elements 2, 2, 4, 8 here, it is added or concatenated with this particular array. Okay, this is column wise, so number of columns will get increased. So you don't have to give the same elements. You can give any other also here. You just use the same array. Okay. Similarly, you can use the VStack or HStack option, especially when you are having a different dimension. Yeah, for example, you have some metrics like something like C equal to np dot, right? Let us put like some 8, 9 list here. So this is a one-dimensional array. C, now my C is my one-dimensional array. You can see that. And if you want to concatenate this one with this two-dimensional array A, then you can use those H stack or V stack. Okay. Here I will be just using the VStack option because we need to have this vertically. So I will just use VStack. I'll just write it as which one was the yes. So A dot can directly write A dot. I can write NP dot VStack, NP dot VStack, and in that I have to provide the array A as well as in my first array, and my second array will be first array is A, and my second array will be C, right? So I am concatenating these. Now, if I press enter, you can see 8 and 9 are concatenated. This is vertical, you can see here. So the number of rows will get increased here. In the same way, you can also do concatenation of in horizontally. So in that case, we have to use H stack. So this is just like a stacking of elements. Okay, so you can consider this as stacking. So here np dot array, I will just put. So in this case, we have here we have two-dimensional array, right? A is two-dimensional array. So in order to concatenate it with column wise, I have to consider this as two columns. So for that, I will just put number of square brackets here. So this is first column and this is second. Okay. Sorry, first row and second. This is first row and second row because we need two rows. We cannot concatenate a one-dimensional, or we cannot stack a one-dimensional with the two-dimensional with that H stack option. So if you consider C as like this, if you print that C now, it will be like this. And if you want to do that H stack, that is horizontally stacking with the A. So H stack I have to give. Press enter, then you can see this 8 and 9. 8 and 9 are stacked with the array A. Those elements are stacked here. So this is how we can concatenate and stack elements, join two different arrays, basically joining two different arrays. And then we have array splitting. Array splitting is just opposite to the concatenation process. Just we have to split those things. So in this case, we'll be just considering an example. Let's consider A equal to np dot array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. So if you want to split this one, I will just give some names. A1, A2, A3 equal to, and np dot. Then I have to use this split function, and what I have to split array A I have to split. Where I have to split, I have to provide that index values. Let us give 2, 5. So in these two index values, it will split 1, square bracket, and then close this bracket and just print A1, A2, A3. So you can see this array A is splitted. Array A is splitted, and that is splitted into three different arrays, or this we can call it as subarrays. So three different subarrays, and we are using 2 points here. Okay, 2 split points. If you are using n split points, you will be getting n plus 1 subarrays. We are using 2 here, so we are getting 3 subarrays. So here we have used this split function, np dot split function, and then we have given the array name A, and then we have given the indices where we have to get the split. So the first index that we have given is 2. So 2 is 0, 1, 2. So at 3 it is splitting, excluding that element. Okay. So we are not going to include that particular element in this particular uh, subarray. So we'll get it 1, 2. So this 2 will be printed, or that will be treated as a subarray. And then this 3 will be treated as subarray because we have next split at index 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this again it will split at 6, excluding 6. Okay. So 3, 4, 5 it will be considered as the next subarray, and then remaining 6, 7, 8 considered as the next subarray. So we can use this split option to split an array into different subarrays. Okay, and also you can also consider the H split as well as V split if you want to split the arrays vertically and horizontally. And for that purpose, we can consider this. Let's consider this C. Let's see whether it is which array I can consider concatenation of A. So I think I didn't give. I haven't given any name for that. Anyway, C is only this. Okay, so let me use this one. Yeah, I have used it. Right? Anyway, I will just use this A. Some random number I will convey. Okay. So I will just print that one. Print A. So this is my metric A, or second two-dimensional array A. And if I want this concatenation, let us put T equal to, and I will be using this concatenation here. I will use it as C is equal to this one. I think we can make that same. Okay, so this one should be. But C, you can see this is my C. And if you want to get the X split and B split function, then I can just give X, for example, X left, just give X left equal to, and I will use NP dot H split, this will split the array horizontally. So H split, I will use C, comma where I have to split, I have only 0 and 1. Okay, so in this case, I have only index 0 and 1 horizontally. So I will be giving 1 here. So if you are having no indices, you can consider any index value. I will just give C comma 1. So that at that index, it will be splitted horizontally. So this is my 0, this is my 1 horizontally when you consider the index values. And now if I press enter and print X left, now you can see that array is splitted at this index horizontally. So that which means that uh, you will be having arrays. So this one you can see 5, 7, 5, 7. So this one is the first array, and this 3, 9, 3, 9 is second array. This will be second array. So this is first array. This is second array. So this will split those array horizontally, which means that it will split column wise. H split will split the array in column wise. And if you consider that this case, let's consider this split, and I'm giving index same index 1. Problem with that. So if I print again, let's say x left, or you can consider it as x left, x up, x below, x down, like that. That is also possible. I'm just using same line. Okay. So print x left. So in that case, you can see that this one is splitted. So the first array is only 5, 3. Only 5 and 3. So this is my first array. Because why it is coming like this? Because this is my first index 0, this is second index, that is 1, 2. So in this one it will be splitted. So this will be treated as first array and the remaining elements will be considered as second array. So in this case it will be splitting vertically. Splitting vertically, which means that it will be splitting for this row wise. Okay, then you can see this is my first array, this is the second. Okay, so I think we have discussed some of the important methods available in NumPy for array, uh, like accessing of different elements, copying and splitting, all those things that we have discussed. And then in the next class we will discuss about the more towards the matrix operations like cross product, dot products, and all those things. Okay.